Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Pacheco, and I'm here today with Dan Brule, my friend, my teacher, my master in breathing techniques, whom I met so many years ago. I even forgot how long ago, but it doesn't matter because we are having a wonderful time every time we talk, every time we meet, every time we work together. Dan was recently in Romania in November, and now is the end of the year. So we decided to meet today, talk about our plans for next year in Romania, talk about our personal plans wherever we are, then his travels around the world, and to wish to you all, those of you who met us, who met Dan or myself, or those of you who will meet us in the future and who plan to work with us, I would like to wish personally to have a beautiful, happy year. I wish you from my heart, with every single breath that we take, to set an intention for peace, for harmony, for love, self-love, but also love for the world. It's so important during this period of time. 2024 was quite a turmoil around the world, and we need peace, love, and compassion. The same for 2025, and I hope that we all start a new year on a different note with more self-confidence. And also from our talk today, I hope you understand how important it is to bring into this process the breathing. Intention, set an intention and breathe into that intention to bring better energy into your life, and knowing that everything will be just fine because we already started the process. That being said, I would like Dan to say a few words about his accomplishments and his desires for the new year to come, and also to send a wish to you. What is he wishing to you all for 2025?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm still celebrating 2024. It's been one of the busiest years of my life. I was in 15 countries this year, and next year looks to be equally busy, if not busier. Seems that the world is really ready. And, breath is the tool. It comes up whenever we're in a process of change, of transition, deep changes, leaps in growth. And wow, that seems to be what's happening on the planet. And many people can feel it. They're big changes are needed, personal changes, leaving old patterns behind and getting accustomed to the acceleration that's happening on the planet. And so breath is the perfect tool for that, for releasing limitations and taking on new energy and showing up at a higher level and clearing away those things that hold us back and keep us from showing up fully and living our purpose and living our mission. And I think a lot of people are really feeling that call. We know that we're capable of more. We know that we're being called to something higher. Each of us has our own path, our own skills and talents and a contribution to the world to make it a better place. And even if our world is just our family, to be the best that we can for those people that we love. And so I think as busy as I've been and as busy as I can see I'm going to be, that people are really recognizing that breathing is this main tool for connecting to our soul, connecting to our spirit, for clearing away stuff that's in the way. And so, and especially in Romania, it really feels you guys are going through all kind of political turmoil and financial stuff. And this is a call for us to find inner strength and find inner guide and so on. And so I'm really looking forward to April, the beginning of April, when we're going to be focusing on birth, where, our first programs and patterns are laid down around the time of birth, and people don't realize how those first few moments in life and the experience in the womb and in early infancy, how those are such powerfully formative it's a powerfully formative time when the first few patterns are laid down in our psyche, in our system, and people begin to realize that, wow, certain patterns are laid down in the early years of our life, and then we repeat those patterns over and over again until we break them. And I think that's going to be one of our themes in April. Let's find out what's been holding us back, and let's clear it out of the way. And let's get in touch with the highest part of ourselves. And the breath is a bridge. It's a force for doing exactly that work. And it feels to me like a lot of people in Romania, and probably they'll come from around Europe too, because when the energy starts to really get high, people respond to that. And they may not know exactly what it's about, but they feel something inside of them is building up and something is calling them. And, the word inspiration, to be inspired, that's not an accident. That's something very literal. And so that's my invitation. Let's make 2025 a year of powerful inspiration and going to the next higher level of whatever it is in our life, in our work, in our art, in our personal process, our professional practice. Let's make 2025 a year that's like really turn a serious corner, draw a nice line before and after, and let's get over whatever it is that's been holding us back, and let's show up as fully as we can, and let's start thinking about maximum potential.
Dan, it's so interesting that I heard you. You are probably one of the first people that I heard talking about liberation. Because people speak more about freedom, but when I think of liberation, I feel more like about allowing myself to let go and free myself, but liberate, from all the weight on my shoulders, all the thoughts, all the programming, all the fears. And you brought up Romania. I noticed that it's a lot of turmoil going on, and it's a lot of fighting and arguing among brothers, sisters, families, and people all together because they have different convictions. And I realized looking around that this is coming, first of all, because of the programming that everybody had. And it's all those programs that are set in our mind, in our behavior, in all of that, that some people push buttons and they start feeling afraid if this happens or afraid if that happens. And this fear, it's stopping us to be at the highest potential that we could be in our life. And we talk all the time that through breath, using breathing, we can free this fears, allowing these fears that may originate in our birth or in our early childhood, in conditioning in our early life, and it is like impregnated upon us in our emotional body, energetic body. These moments, like we call them captive emotions, that they stay in this field of ours, and a certain moment is like a button is pushed and they come to the surface, and we act sometimes that we don't know, why am I acting like this? It's because it's there. So myself and people that we work together with, we know that using breathing, using certain techniques in certain moments, we can free, liberate, like you say, liberate this emotions, this energy, and feel all of the sudden saying, I say many times, so what if something happens? So what? Okay, whatever. It happens, it happens. Something will come after that and life will move on. Life moved on for billions of years. It's not going to be stuck. So Yes, discovering, and this is a theme that we wanted to cover, the moment of birth, how that moment of birth impacted not only that particular moment, but the rest of our life. And I would like you to talk about for a few moments how the moment of birth is putting like a stamp and conditioning the rest of our life, certain maybe patterns in our life that we can get rid of, and it's following all of our life without realizing why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at the classic, what's the situation? We're helpless, as infants, we're helpless. We can't even turn over, never mind turn a doorknob. So there's this helplessness and hopelessness. And that we call that, I think of that as infant mentality. And here we are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and we're still having these feelings of helplessness and hopelessness. And that goes against the truth of our being, that we are powerful, creative beings. And we don't want to carry forward these limitations any longer. And that's what breath work, I think breath work it's self-liberation. And just dropping of these early, like struggle, for example. If you have to struggle to get through the birth canal and struggle to get what you need and struggle to communicate, struggle becomes it's like tied to life. If I'm not struggling, I'm not alive. And so we struggle in relationships. We struggle to make money. We struggle on our job. We struggle. And so to me, that's the deep-rooted program. And breathing can clear that from our system so that what is a struggle and effort becomes easy and effortless. And what a difference that makes in life, for things that normally we're working so hard and struggling to accomplish and not even doing becomes easy and effortless. And the energy that's freed up for our creativity when we're not struggling constantly, struggling to make money, struggling to communicate, struggling with our health, struggling. Whew. And in a very short time, in just a few sessions, we can clear all that stuff. And life just gets easier, it gets lighter, and it's the energy that it's draining us of, this energy is now available to be creative. And it's also available for healing and restoration and renewal. That's why we call it rebirthing, because when people get a few sessions, they literally feel like they're in a new body. They feel like they have a whole new outlook on life. They have energy that they didn't have before. And I know this, to some people, this probably sounds like, it's like too good to be true kind of stuff. But I've been doing this work since the early 1970s, and I've been to 72 countries. I've worked with 250,000 people. So this isn't just theory for me. I see it every day in my work. And we shouldn't be surprised, because we're divine beings of light. We're children of God. We're born with real power, and something's sucking it and draining it. And sometimes it's our own limiting beliefs, our own limiting thoughts. And yeah, some of the programming that we received as children, as infants. And so breath work is about us clearing this stuff away and be able to really feel lighter and have more energy. And then you do with that energy what you're here to do with it. That's your job. I feel like as breath workers, we're like midwives. We're just helping you to give birth to the person you are really meant to be. And let's not waste any more time. I hear these interviews and I read these articles and listen to people that in the last, before people die, they very rarely regret things they did. They regret the things they didn't do. And everybody's got something, that, God, if only I didn't have to work, or if I didn't have the family, or if I had the money, I would do this. Well, let's get that other stuff out of the way and identify what it is you really want to do, because you don't want to leave this life not doing what you really want to do. And breath work helps us identify that and it helps us to clear the path to actually getting it done, and doing and being who we were meant to be, and doing what we're here in the world to do. Everybody has a sacred mission in this world, everybody. And we each have something very unique to contribute. And that's what I like the theme for our April event to be. Let's uncover these things. Let's discover these things, and let's put energy into them. And let's stop making excuses for not really living the life that we want to live. Oh.
Yes, and it's so true. I was listening to you, what you're saying, and it appears to me that the main theme for humanity, it doesn't matter that they are in what country people live, is this thing, the struggling for everything. It comes to the point that it's expected that in order to achieve something, you have to struggle. And believe me, I understood myself in the past 20 years since I started to study more breathing and meditation and so forth, that it's not necessary absolutely at all to struggle. The more ease you have to do things, the easier things come to you than when you struggle. And the second thing that listening to you, I realized that people many times they say, oh, I'll do this some other time, next year, next month. And I ask myself many times, why? And I understand now it's because they have no self-love. They don't love themselves. Everybody else is more important than themselves. So I wonder, is this also related to young age? Is related to a program that is imposed on us? Maybe family telling us in early age, don't be selfish, don't do it for yourself, do it for others. So maybe it's not from the moment of birth when others sacrifice, quotes, for us, but we are put upon us some limiting beliefs that we don't deserve. Since we are very little, we don't deserve enough, or we don't have to be selfish. So many people, and I know that I'm saying this because there are many people who say, I would like to come, it's important for me, I feel I need this work, but I can't do it now. And they have time, money, children, work, this and this and that and that. So I'm trying to express to people, love yourself. Loving yourself is not selfish. Loving yourself, being yourself a better person, a better health, in better joy, in love, in feeling free, as you say, liberated, you will be able to give more to those that you love. So
Yeah.
what do you think about this? Yeah.
Well, for one thing, we need to just stop making excuses. You can't blame the financial situation and blame your parents and blame the government. That's the first thing we need to do. And that's one of the powerful things about breath work, is that it puts us in touch with our own power, with our own creative thinking, and we got to get that aligned. And if you're doing what you're meant to do, the universe supports you. It gives you energy you need. But if you're doing something because you think you have to, or you don't have enough faith in yourself, you want to do something, but you think, oh, I'm not smart enough, I'm not young enough, I'm not the right sex, I'm not the right whatever. We got to clear that away, because we're getting in our own way, and that's I don't want people to come to the seminar who going to continue to just make excuses and blame the conditions of the world, or blame other people, blame their parents. And, first be willing to, leave that behind. And if you do, then there's going to be a space to connect with the real power in yourself. And that's really, that's where, and the breath literally gives you this, you're literally inspired. You get excited about your talents and your skills and your contribution. And maybe it's about reconnecting to what you dreamed of when you were young, but then you just left that dream behind for whatever reason, and reawaken and rekindle something from early in your life that fed your soul. people at the seminars always, they reconnect to that. They remember, I used to really love as a child, I loved doing this. Well, guess what? When you start doing that again, you start getting energy you didn't know you had, and you start inspiring other people. And then these coincidences, serendipity happens. You end up in the right place, talking to the right person, and without trying. And it's like, wow, my life, there's a divine plan, and now I'm flowing along with this plan instead of fighting it. And so I love being around people when they go through these shifts. And it's nothing that I really do. I feel like I'm a midwife. I encourage, I support, but it's people's own connection to their own heart. And that's what it's about. And you talked about it, learning to love yourself and appreciate yourself, and feeling like you deserve to experience your own love and compassion. And it's not selfish, because the better you take care of yourself, the more you can do for other people. And maybe some people, they need permission. They need permission to really love themselves and care for themselves. And that's what I think our event should be about. Like, let's put this time aside to really take care of yourself. And if you insist on taking care of other people, if you spend a few days or a week taking care of yourself, you can take care of other people much, much better, if that's your main motivation. So the more you take care of yourself, the better you can serve other people. And then you don't have to rely on other people. There's this, one of the things around birth and infancy is we only get attention when we're sick. And that's why I think unconsciously people keep getting sick, because then someone takes care of them. Then they get attention. Then they have an excuse not to go to the job that they don't like in the first place. And so we clear away some of the subconscious stuff and realign our everyday actions so that they're aligned with our heart's desire and our soul's purpose. Otherwise, we're always going to be struggling. But as soon as we use the breath to connect to our heart's desire and connect to our soul's purpose, and then don't be surprised if everything starts to flow much easier. That's how it works. That's how it should happen. And if you surround yourself with other people who are ready to heal and ready to grow, it magnifies and accelerates everything. So it's not just the breath work, it's the people coming together for the same sacred purpose brings a certain energy, and that's hard to generate or create that energy on your own. And so I think there's an African proverb says, if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. So at our retreats and at our weekends, you're going to be able to go very fast and very far, because we're going to create the ideal situation. And you know yourself how many times we've done this. The right people seem to just be attracted. And at the events, people make these friendships and connections that they never would have been able to make, because like-minded, heart-centered people come together, and these new friendships and new relationships are formed, and they serve each and everyone's higher purpose. It's quite beautiful. I wouldn't be doing this work if I wasn't seeing this happen all the time.
It's true, Dan, and it's amazing, because in the workshops that we did together and the workshops that I did myself in different countries and in Romania, I have to say that all my friends are people that I met during these workshops, these events,
Yeah.
because my friends in Romania gone. I don't even know where they are anymore, since I was a child here and I was so many years out of Romania. And so many people that they came, as you said, to these workshops, they made friends, they stayed together, they have common interests, they tied a strong bond there together. And it's true. And I have to say one more thing, that as you were speaking, I remember that during my own sessions of throughout the years, there were moments when I connected to my very, very, very early childhood. even to the moment of my birth. Not necessarily, I won't get into this now, how and what, but the truth is that I understand certain things about myself as I am today, as I behave today, my qualities and my not so qualities that according to the patterns that we are judged in this world. I mean, I understand myself based on the moment when I was born and how I was born, and how easy or how difficult was for my mother to give birth to me. And that energy from that moment, I understand very well today. It's imprinted or was imprinted. It was like a print, like a stamp on me at that moment. And just because I work so much with breathing and meditation and work with myself and personal development, I managed to go over certain things that if I didn't do all this work, I wouldn't be in this place today. I would be, as you say, far behind, not because I'm not a good person, but because I wouldn't know how to shake it off.
Yeah.
How to get rid of it, how to get rid of emotions, feelings, thoughts, judgments, all these things that are put upon us by society. Not saying that anybody does it on purpose to hurt us, but is a conditioning of the society. And then we have our own stamp, as I said. That being said, would you be able to say a few words? Just give us a few examples of certain types of behavior based on the way that babies were born. Like if the mother couldn't give birth for a day or struggling there in labor for 2 days, how would that be an imprint of the baby? Or if it was a breech birth, or so, just for people to connect, to understand what we are talking about.
Yeah, simple things like, were you planned, or were you a shock or a surprise? And, oh, one more mouth to feed. And you always feel like a burden your whole life. You feel like you're a burden to people. Or when you're a little child and, you were inspired by something and you come and you go, hey, I just got blah, blah. And the adults go, oh, go play, leave it alone. And that expression is like squashed in you. And you feel like you don't have anything to offer. You don't have anything of value, that everybody else is smarter than you. It's so, little moments like that in a child's life are huge. An adult go, what are you crying for? There's nothing to cry about. Go play. And they're going through something really, really deep. And, or, they wanted a boy and a girl came out, and none of it was ever spoken, but we picked this up. It's an impression. We feel it. And there's something wrong with me. My whole life, there's like something wrong with me. Or you're in your mother's womb and she has some experience and you pick up her fear. You take on her fear and it's not even yours. Or you come out and you feel like you want to be loyal to your family. And so you have a choice. Do I follow the voice of my spirit, or do I go along with what other people expect of me? And so there are so many ways that our own evolution, our own development can be interrupted, interfered, and thwarted and knocked off, our path by seemingly little things to an adult, but to a child can be huge, or not allowed to feel certain emotions, feeling like you're selfish if you take care of yourself, because you should be taking care of your little brother, you should be taking care of your little sister, or you have a love of something, but somebody says, no, you should be focusing on this or focusing on that. And we don't want to go against things. We don't want to rock the boat. And so we end up chipping away at what our heart really wants. And everybody else seems to be doing it, so you think, well, I guess that's the way it is. And then we end up settling for less. How many people, if you want to be honest, that you're settling for less than you really want, less than you want in a relationship, less than you want in a job, not making the kind of money you feel you deserve, but you don't feel like you have a right to ask for it. There are so many of these little things. Breath work brings it up, puts you in touch with it, clears it away, and you replace it with a more powerful thought, a more creative way to confront opportunities and emergencies, and start to recognize that there are so many things that happen to us growing up that really made an impression on us. That how many times have you felt like other people make you do things all the time, and or how many times you think other people stop you from doing what you want? This all comes from birth and childhood. And how long do you want to keep carrying this stuff along? And wouldn't it be great if you could just shake it loose and get free of it? And you'd be surprised how people, they treat you differently when you think of yourself in a different way. Think of yourself in a higher way, and other people, you'll see, they start treating you better. It's almost magical, but it's actually quite natural. And there aren't a lot of times and places and situations where you can do this kind of work on yourself. And so this our retreats, our weekends in April, this is a real opportunity for people to do some work on yourself, that the opportunities don't arise very often. And there's not a lot of support for it in your small family circle, and maybe making your circle bigger, and bringing in people who really want to support you in doing what you want and being how you want to be. And maybe that means letting go of some relationships that aren't serving you, toxic relationships. A lot of people, after breathing, they really recognize that, no, I don't need these kind of people in my life. I want people in my life that I feel uplifted by, who I feel supported by, and I don't want to have to always be fighting other people to try to do what I want to do. And so people can expect that. You come to these breathing seminars, and you can expect that things are going to shift. They cannot not shift. So lots of little examples. Yeah. And sometimes they seem like little things, but they can be really huge.
Yes. Yeah. That's absolutely true, Dan, because as I was listening, it has to do a lot with the emotions of the mother or the family around when the mother was pregnant, because babies can hear and babies can sense. It's like there are so many facts about, if you play music, a certain type of music, they recognize the music, they recognize the voice of the mother especially. They also feel what the mother feels, the emotions of the mother, and then the same thing continues in the immediate time after they are born and in their early childhood. They are very sensitive in perceiving the energy around and connected to that energy field and connected to the what is told to them constantly, and it's making such a huge impact on their life. And as we said in the beginning, we continue to live our life all the time on what other people think about us. And it took me some years also in my life to realize it's not important what they think. Some of them, I may not even see them the second time in my life, so who cares? And if they don't like me, so be it. They don't like me. I can live my life without them. I'm not gonna live my life to make people like me if they already have a negative opinion about me. So let them be. I live my life and they live. So for some reason we are stuck. Most of people were stuck in this thing of making other people happy with our own sacrifice, so to speak, not living our life. And I see this more and more, and I know that our setting our intention and breathing in this intention and freeing ourselves of all these judgments and thoughts and programs, we can have a much better life, a beautiful life. And I understand something, because I'm not 25 years old anymore. I realize that there is a moment in our life that we really have to think about what we live and what we do for ourselves. And I will share something with you. I was talking to a friend of mine who is helping me in creating a program, a site, and some materials, and asked me a question. And it was like a reality check. It says, I want to ask you a question, Michelle, and just like this, so it makes you think. Uh, what would you like to be left behind you when you're not here anymore?
Mm, mm, mm.
So he said, and we're talking about messages, about purpose, about what I want to transmit to people, what would be my what my work should have when I carry it to the world. But in that moment, I realized that actually our journey comes to an end. And the question is, are we doing what we want in our life? So when that journey ends, we are happy with what we did in our life or with our life.
Yeah.
And I realize that many of us don't do that because we are too busy to do other things and not take the time to go to a retreat, to go
Right.
and find a way to free our, negative emotions, our negative habits, our frustrations, our whatever. And that's why I decided, talking to you earlier, that it would be nice to do this time in Romania. We did it a few years ago, but to do it again like a retreat for a couple of days, it's like an immersion where we go and for 3-4 days, we just spend time together. We breathe during the day. Maybe we'll make a meditation in the afternoon after work or in the morning before we work, and eat and talk to everybody and share emotions, express ourselves. So it would be like a all-day event. Breathe for a couple of hours, then can give us some points and explain. This is, I take it that I have to say this now. People talk about personal development classes. I hear this all the time. And I can say this, there is no possible to have a personal development about personal spiritual development. We need to understand our nature as a spirit and our purpose in order to evolve. So we can do this for a couple of days together. And I think the sharing, and maybe Dan can say a few things because he's working for over 50 years on this type of work, sharing. It helps people sometimes more than just working by yourself and keeping things in your mind and not sharing with anyone. What do
Yeah.
you?
Oh, they say that, love is like our greatest need, but I think we find out that giving love is an even more powerful need. And, breath work wakes us up to this real natural urge to support other people, to uplift other people. And it's it's contagious. And so, to recognize our own value, how healing our own presence, just being, just being who you are inspires other people. It really does. And the courage to be who you are and the courage to speak up and to stop putting other people up on a pedestal as a way of putting yourself down. That's such a common thing to do. I like talking about Nelson Mandela's inauguration speech. He borrowed some stuff from Marianne Williamson and another poet, and talking about it's not our darkness that most frightens us; it's our light that we're afraid of. And we need to get over that fear. And it's okay to shine. It's okay to really shine. You inspire other people to shine when you do. And let's stop putting ourselves down and putting each other down and criticizing and judging, and see if we can't shift that energy. It's what we all want. It's what we all need. And it's a normal human thing. But maybe a lot of people have given up on it. Maybe they go, well, there's just no way I can ever do it. I want to. Phew, maybe it's just a matter of just getting over some of that stuff. And you're not going to get over it unless you hang around with people who are also want to get over it. And we don't need people helping us justify and rationalize negative thoughts and negative emotions. We need people in our lives who are going to support us in stepping, going a little higher. And those are the people I find that are attracted to breath work. They recognize that they're good people and they're doing the best that they can in life, and stop putting yourself down and putting other people down. And let's start to learn to transform that energy. The world needs it. We each need it as individuals. And if we work on ourselves, the people around us work on themselves, we're all lifted up. The more I love myself, the more I love others. The more I love myself, the more others love themselves. The more I love other people, the more other people love me. There's something contagious about this willingness to just love is our nature. Let's just admit it, and let's make it okay to just practice basic human love, and don't be shy about it. And breath work is one of those ways that we can awaken our self-love, awaken self-love, and begin to love people in a higher way, ourselves and others.
Yeah, that's so true, Dan, because, you know, I'm working also on my meditation so much with creating with intention. And of course, we are using the breath because the energy field that is around us carries our emotions, our feelings in every moment, our fears, our joy, whatever it is, our love. So when we breathe into that state, we carry out that state to the others. And there is such a thing, there's this field that connects everything that is scientifically proven, is not something boo-hoo-hoo, like some people don't want to believe, but it's proven, you can search. And that breath, that energy that we set in motion with our intention carries out, as you said, Dan, and we can how to say, contaminate with joy and happiness,
Yeah.
love everyone around us. And soon enough, I notice when people come to the workshops and they are sad, and sometimes after 2 days, and especially in those that are 3, 4, 5 days, and soon enough, after 2 days, in the third, fourth day, they're all happy and jumping and smiling and making jokes. It's like they switch somehow 180 degrees because they are, as you said, contaminated with joy because it's in this field. And sometimes I want to say one more thing. People talk about peace. People talk about humanity and love and all these great things. And my answer is we need to set intention and to set it in motion, to manifest it. Because if we all stay in fear that somebody, a government or a job or a boss or a company or whoever is going to do something to us and we stay in fear, we're going to maintain that state. If we are all contaminating our friends and family with through our breath with intention of peace, love, healing, that is going to be transmitted, and then the whole world is going to reach that critical mass at some moment, and we are going to shift into peace, into love, into harmony. So this is how important this is, to learn a few tricks, and to do them, to implement them in our day-to-day life. And
yeah, it's very practical. And breathing is how we energize this field. And you're right, it's measurable. The heart puts out electromagnetic frequencies that can be measured from 6, 8 feet out from the body. It's real. And when you breathe in certain ways, you charge that field, and it becomes even more contagious. And the way energy works, you elevate. There's there's this elevation that occurs. Everybody feels that when you're around somebody who's really happy and joyful, you feel better. If you're around somebody who's depressed and sad, you kind of get dragged down. And we need to take responsibility for this. And so it's very practical. It's not woo woo, and it's very practical. We're talking about the human spirit and charging it with the breath and clearing away any blockages to that spirit flowing. And so, yeah, the breathing is, and it wouldn't be, I travel around the world. Everybody's from CEOs, government officials, military people, psychiatrists, medical doctors. This isn't for just new age hippies. This is something that the whole world is waking up to. And there's the science is unarguable about it now. The chemistry involved in changing your breathing, the brainwave states that are affected by breathing patterns. This is real stuff. And it's not taught in schools, and that's why we have to create special place and come together and share this information and develop these skills, because it's needed, especially today more than ever. It's needed. So,
yeah, and since you brought this up, I think it's important also in the day and age that we live in to mention how important the breath is in affecting your immune system and how it's critical. I had moments when I wasn't feeling well with a cold or something else, whatever it was, a pain. And just by breathing for 1 or 2 hours and maintaining a certain speed, so to speak, a certain pace, I got rid of it. I was feeling better until the following day was just fine. And people would think that I did something magic, but it's not. It's just understanding the energy, like you said, the intention, the positive breath, the feel that we talk about it, and how that is affecting cleansing your own.
Every system in the body. 70% of our metabolic waste toxins are eliminated from our body through breathing. And breathing isn't just a respiratory function, it's a circulatory function. Breathing helps the heart to circulate blood. And so it helps with blood pressure. I mean, there's just no arguing anymore that if you improve your breathing, you're going to improve your immune system, your cardiovascular system, everything. So it's just a no-brainer. And that's why doctors, medical people, military, they're on board. Celebrities, psychiatry, everybody is recognizing the power that we have when we improve our breathing, when we control our breath, when we practice certain breathing exercise and techniques. It produces real, measurable, genuine results. And some things that you thought would be very complicated and difficult turn out to be actually quite simple and quite easy, because most people have not really practiced or studied or looked into their breathing. And so it's like it's an untapped natural resource. And so it's time. It's time for people to wake up to something that's right under their nose and turns out to be one of the ultimate healers, a source of energy, and a source of creativity. And all it takes is just come open-minded, come open-hearted, and just try and practice. And you won't need anybody to convince you, because every single person who actually practices various breathing exercises, they feel it, they notice it. The difference is obvious. So that's my job. That's why I'm a missionary for the breath. And that's why I love that you also are committed to turning people on to the power of breath. And let's do it in April. Yeah. Hey, and for people who can't wait till April, I've done a retreat every year in Los Cabos, Mexico. This is my 18th annual Los Cabos Breathwork Gathering. It's January 17th to the 27th. It's in beautiful Los Cabos in Mexico. 10 days, I've invited half a dozen, 7 or 8 of my favorite breath workers from around the world. They each have their own style, their own school, their own method, their own approach. And so we're going to do a 10-day retreat in January in Los Cabos, escape the winter colds, and do deep dive into the breath as a healing and a celebration. So thebreathfest.com, check it out. And if you are available in January, come down, join people from around the world, and learn not only from me, but learn from another half a dozen amazing experts in breathing. And in a very short time, make a huge leap. And you'll be very ready to help me teach when I come in April.
We'll put the link of the event in the
Yeah, thebreathfest.com. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh.
It's my 18th annual retreat. It's always miraculous. It's always fun. And it's in the winter, so people get a nice break from the cold. Perfect way to start the year with some bliss, with some ecstasy, with some deep healing. Oh, yeah, it's going to be happening. So
Nice.
thanks for letting me mention that. I'm really looking forward.
Sure, of course. People should take advantage as much as possible of enjoying this. And, and I also want to mention one more thing, which is really important for those those of you that are watching Dan, following Dan, or you watched us before. There is a lot of scientific proof these days. We are happy that we live during a period of time where the science is meeting spirituality. This is no longer just a spiritual work that was done by yogis or by some crazy people around the world. This is the time where the science is meeting those practices, and they prove that is actually beneficial for the body. In California, there is Heart Math Institute that they studied this for more than 20 years, scientists and doctors, and they have definite proof how breathing, meditation, and doing it in a certain way, it can deal with people that are working in high stress or people that have the different health issues, and how breathing and meditating in a certain way doesn't have to be connecting to I don't know where and high spiritual work, but even simple work, how it can help you. Why I'm saying this? Because this is valid for anybody, the beginners, the advanced, those are practicing certain spiritual have certain spiritual practices, and those that have zero spiritual practice. You don't have to be a spiritual person to trust and to try the breath, because as Dan said, it's right under your nose. You already breathe. It's just important how you regulate and how you tweak your breath in a certain way or another in order to be beneficial for you, to make it kind of heal you, kind of push the old energy out, do something, shift something inside of you. So that is so important. So then we are going to have this great event in Romania this time after your trip in Thailand, correct?
Yep, I'll be coming from Thailand. Yeah.
So last time you came from India, now you're coming from Thailand.
Yep.
Now, anyway, we are planning, and I will post all this information. We are planning to start on April 5th, and we are going to do a retreat for a couple of days, 4 days probably, or maybe 5, depending on how we can get organized. Somewhere outside Bucharest, in a nice place, and where we can have a group of about 20 people. We'll see how spacious the place is going to be there, maybe more. And just to work and practice from when we wake up until we go to sleep, and breathe and meditate and write and journaling and talking and sharing. And so we can transform and go back home transformed. That's the whole purpose. And set intentions. What do I want to achieve? Where do I want to go? And I'm sure that you will achieve what you set your mind if you do just this. And also we may have a few days or some evenings in Bucharest after we return from this retreat before Dan goes away on his next journey. So then as a few words for the end of this meeting that we're having right now, what would you like to say to the people that are listening to us, that are watching us? What message do you have?
You know, the simplest things always turn out to be the most powerful. The most basic things are always the most important. And what is more simple and basic than breathing? And if you haven't really looked into breathing or practiced breathing, this is an opportunity to really go deep really fast. And if you've already been practicing and you know a lot, this is a chance to take your practice to the next level. So it's my job, it's my passion, and it's my goal. So that's that. You can expect that in April.
Yes, definitely. And once again, not to forget all of you out there that don't know yet enough or would like to find more about the power of breath in removing birth trauma. Remember, because this was the main point of our discussion and our retreat. Remember that is determining the way you live your life. And I will post a few things in the bottom of this video and the references to articles you can go and find on internet and read about this, that it will change your life. That's actually what it would be the best to say. So then it was a pleasure in talking to you today. I would like, who knows, maybe someday we'll meet more often and we'll do some talks about this, because I feel that the more people find about this and listen to this, maybe they will become it will become like something common. Oh yeah, it's okay to listen about breathing. It helps. It's like some people repeat negative stuff and it stucks to their mind. Maybe we should talk about positive things. Maybe it will stay with them. Who knows? Repetition.
Yeah, let's help keep the balance at least. Yeah.
Like Bruce Lipton talks about it. After a certain age, the only way you remember and you learn is through repetition. So maybe we need to do just that. Repeat, 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 repeat. And to stay with us, that it's important to change the way we look at our life, the way we breathe, the way we feel, and the way we set intentions. Because I also learned from my wonderful teachers and also from Dan, we don't breathe just air, we breathe energy. And the energy, when we breathe it and we bring it into us, it's not positive and it's not negative. It's right in the middle, it's neutral. And our emotions and feelings is charging that energy that stays with us. So it's either joy and happiness and love, or sadness and misery. So I'm asking, what do you choose for yourself? I choose to be happy no matter what happens around me. I'm happy that I'm who I am, and I'm pleased with who I am because I'm doing the best that I can in this moment. And if maybe I'll be better, but at this moment I'm happy and I'm thankful to everything that happened to me in my life, and I'm thankful to Dan, and I'm even thankful to people that maybe at some moments in my life hurt me, because I learned and they made me grow and then help me to use my breath and release the stress and the negativity. And this can happen to any of us. Joy, happiness, love, and great gratitude, deep
Yay.
gratitude to,
Onward and upward.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you, Michelle. It's always a pleasure.
Same
Looking
here,
forward
and
to April.
see you soon. I'll see you April, all of you, April 5th. You will find all the details at the bottom of this video and also posted on the websites. And come and join us that you are in Romania or anywhere in Europe or even in the States. If you want to have a pleasant journey in Romania and discover beautiful places, you can stay here a couple of days and have fun. So it would be a great pleasure to see you all soon. Thank you so much for listening and for watching us. Thank you.